Hey guys, welcome back. Here is our Shy Mermaid tutorial. I'm just calling her Shy because we're only going to see her as she's diving into the water. So what I'm doing is I'm starting with a large oval rock, and ignore the first two circles I drew. I was just trying to adjust it to find the right size. I wanted the circle to take up most of my rock, but not all of it. I wanted to see outside of that circle a little bit as well. Now, if I sound funny or hoarse at all, it is because I'm still sick, but I wanted to get this one out because I really thought you guys would like it, and I've had a lot of requests for a mermaid. So once I've filled in my circle with black paint and let it dry, I'm going to come in and draw the mermaid tail. And what it is it's a mermaid who's just dove into the water, and we can see the ocean and the sunset behind the mermaid, and the tail and some of the waves from the ocean are coming outside of that framed circle. So this is a little different from the framed rocks that I normally do because we're going outside the lines. That's what's fun about this one. So this time we're allowed to go outside the lines. Now I'm doing three separate little waves here, and I'm outlining everything in gold. So everything that I draw on with pencil, I'm going over with gold, and then I'm filling it all in black because you guessed it, it's going to be dotted. So not only are we going to have a beautiful mermaid tail, but it's going to be a dotted mermaid. So so far, I'm just making sure that everything's filled in with black properly. If it starts to dry and you see some of your rock coming through, just quickly go over it again with some black paint and let it dry before you start the dotting process. As for the dots and the colors that I'm using today, you don't have to use the same colors as me. You can do your tail differently. You don't have to go outside the lines if you don't want to. And if you don't want to dot it, you don't have to dot it. You can just paint it all in whatever color you want, and it'll still look really nice afterwards. I'm just making sure that everything's outlined in black as well. I wanted to find the parts that are sticking outside of the frame. I want to make sure those are outlined in black. And if you have, like, your gold lines are too thick, this is where you would thin them out and get them the way you want them, and then let it dry properly before we get some color going. Now I'm just going to sketch on some definition on the tail, the fins here. Just putting some lines, which I will cover with gold paint. And then I'm also going to show you how I do the fins. Or sorry, the scales. Don't mind me. I might be on some Advil cold and sinus right now. And if I screw up any words, you guys will let me know. So we'll just leave it there. So the scales are really simple, just little bumps, and you go over top of those little bumps and you just keep going and going and going. I always start from the middle of the bump and go over to the middle of the next bump. And you can do your scales bigger, smaller, less of them. If you don't want to do scales, it's completely up to you. This is just my version of a mermaid tail. But you can choose your colors, and if you want to use metallic or if you want it to sparkle, you get to change it up as much as you want. So now that it's dry, I'm going to thin out some of these scales because some of them are a little bit thicker than the other ones. So I will thin those out a little bit before I get started on that. But I'm going to do the mermaid tail last. We're going to do the background first. So the sun, I'm going to have it gradually go from orange to yellow. So we start with orange, which is pumpkin orange. You can use whatever shade of orange you desire. And then I just kind of mix and mingle the yellow into the orange and start lightening it. until eventually I'm using pure yellow right at the bottom of the sun. So you can see here, I've mixed a little bit of yellow in with the orange. And so my first couple layers of dots there are going to be that color. And then I add more yellow into that, and it gets lighter and lighter gradually in a gradient from the top to the bottom of the sun. And you'll see as well that I do that with the water and the sky. We do a gradient of colors through the sky as well. Now, I am going to be explaining this a little bit, just the way I dot the color in, just to kind of make sure that there's a nice soft gradient between the colors. I kind of bubble up the dots. So I don't just do a straight line of dots, I kind of bubble them up, and some are out of place. You can see like there's the odd one that it's not a straight line. The best way for me to explain the gradient of colors is in my dotted 4-leaf clover stone video. Please take a look on my channel for the dotted 4-leaf clover. That I spend more time explaining to you dotting and the gradient of colors, and it's much easier to see on that tutorial. So if you want to take a look at that one before you do the gradient in the background of my mermaid here, I will still be here when you get back to this video. That's a promise. So you can go back and get some help with the dotting in the gradient and then come back, and it'll be a lot easier. Or just watch what I'm doing and you might be able to just do it right away. So I'm doing the same thing with the ocean water. I'm starting with like a teal color from Craftsmart. It's like one of my favorites. I use it a lot. If you guys are subscribers and you've watched my videos, you know I like that teal color. It's used frequently. So I am just starting with teal, and I'm just going to add a little bit of light blue or white to that teal and mix it until it gets lighter and lighter and lighter, and you can see the gradual change, how I'm mixing and mingling in each shade of blue so that it gradually changes from dark to light as we head down to the bottom of it. I'm not very good at explaining things, especially when I go to record tutorials, because I do get nervous when I do this. So words escape me, and you guys have let me know. So I appreciate that. But yeah, if I don't know how to explain it very well, I'm going to blame it on my illness that I have right now, my cold that will not leave, and the Advil cold and sinus. So I'm doing the same thing with the little waves that we've put at the bottom. I'm starting with the dark teal at the top of it, and then work my way into a lighter color at the bottom of each individual wave here. Those 3 waves at the front. So you'll see in a minute that you'll be able to see the gradient of color in just a moment. Now you can use a different color for your water. It's completely, like, this is what's so great about this. You get to decide. So it's not up to me what you do on your stone. I'm just showing you what I'm doing. So whichever colors you prefer, that's what you do. Whatever makes your heart smile. And what's this? So you can see at the bottom of each of the waves now, I've put my lightest color. So it just kind of flows with the color along with the ocean. Now I will be using some purple in the sky. It's called grape taffy. I'm going to start off purple and head my way up to blue by mixing in a couple of different colors. So I'm just starting with the lightest color purple that I have in my collection of paints. And it doesn't matter if it's glossy or satin or matte. Once you seal it, it's all going to look the same anyway. So this is actually a gloss acrylic paint. And then the other stuff, some of it's metallic, some of it's matte. But it really doesn't matter in the end because we're going to be sealing it with resin. So it's going to be shiny like glass all the way. Now, if you like the looks of this mermaid tail, just black, if you think that the silhouette of the mermaid tail is just perfect for you, you don't have to do anything else behind the, besides getting the sky done. You can leave just this black silhouette and you're done. I noticed while I was editing that it actually looked really nice with just the black silhouette of the mermaid tail diving into the ocean. And so I just wanted to put that out there for an option for you. You don't have to fill in the tail. Just fill in the water and the sun and the sky, and it will look just beautiful, as you can see right now. I am going to be filling in mine. So you can see what it looks like now, and then you can see what it looks like filled in and decide from there what you want to do. And I'm using color shift paint, which I don't use very often, but I will be using that on my mermaid tail, 2 different colors. It's called Blue Flash and Purple Flash, and they're kind of like the exact opposite of each other when it comes to color shift paints. So you'll see soon. Now with the sky, I'm just adding French blue to my grape taffy purple, and it starts gradually changing it to the French blue color as I keep adding more of it in there. And now I want to add a little bit of blue, Cayman blue actually, just to really make the top part of my sky blue, but not the same color as the ocean. I want to keep that separate color. Now I'm just thinning out some of my gold scales here because some of them are a bit thick or messy. So this is the best time to decide whether or not you want to leave it as a black silhouette with scales, or if you want to fill it in. This will give you a moment to decide. It looks really nice either way, so I just want to make sure you guys know that that is an option. Now I'm outlining my mermaid tail all in black, and just the top of the waves. And here's the Purple Flash and Blue Flash color shift paint. And I'm also using cerulean blue for just a line of dots right beside the gold on the scales. It just gives it a nicer look on the scales once we're done with it. It's hard to see here because of my lighting, and I apologize for that. But you can see it a lot better once it's been sealed. You'll be able to see the color shift paint and then that cerulean blue. Now I am using the Blue Flash on the scales, and I'm going to use the Purple Flash on the fin. And like I said, they're almost exact opposite of each other. You turn it one way, it looks purple. You turn it another way, it looks blue. And then it's the exact opposite with the tail. Metallic paint's really good for when you're doing any kind of like mermaid or fish. I'm going to use hologram paint and just put a few random dots of hologram 2796. It's just a glimmering aquamarine teal colored sparkle. Looks like diamonds. I'm going to add a couple of dots of those in the water only. That's the only thing that's going to be sparkling. You can make whatever you want sparkle though. Don't forget that. You guys know how much I love you. I want to make sure I say it to you every single time. If you click that button and you're still with me and you're painting my stuff, you guys are awesome and I love you for it and I appreciate you. And some of the work you guys do is just so amazing, and it's like you're my little babies and I'm so proud of you. Just want you guys to know how loved you are on my end, and you keep me going every day. I am adding some gold dots with one of my bigger dotting tools, just to kind of frame it in a little bit better. And I'll be adding a black dot on top of those gold dots once the gold is dry. And that's just because my rock is lighter, so the gold kind of isn't very noticeable on this kind of rock once it's been sealed. So I want to make sure I can see that framework a little bit better, and add some black dots in the center. But that's optional. All of it's optional, guys. You're going to see it resined. I do have a resin tutorial. I have what do you do with the bottoms of your resined rocks tutorial. I have brush tutorials. Check out my channel and hit subscribe and share. Now here it is resined, completely boosts every single color, especially the metallic and the gold and the sparkles. It looks so beautiful. I hope you guys love it. I would love to see the pictures of yours. Send them to me on Facebook at Rachel's Rocks. I love you guys. Keep painting.